Dragon Ball Z Movie 8, The Legendary Super Saiyan is the best Dragon Ball movie so far, and the first Dragon Ball film with actual movie length of 80 minutes, giving writers enough time to craft a fantastic story. The movie's premise is about Paragus, another Saiyan survivor, inviting Vegeta and his friends to planet New Vegeta to rebuild what the Saiyans lost, and with Vegeta becoming a new king. Since Vegeta isn't interested, Paragus baits him with a warrior with immense power, as a legendary Super Saiyan, who up to this point in the anime version was hyped as a warrior that appears once every 1000 years. Even at the beginning of the movie, the power of Broly was hyped up, as even King Kai gets terrified enough to ask Goku for help. Before the real review starts, there's a big conception about this movie and its lead, Broly, as many think he has no depth and a lame backstory, mostly stemming from a fan parody by Team 4 stars, who seem to have a personal grudge against this character. But there's a reason why Broly was, and still is, as popular as he is, since if he hadn't a personality or were a bland villain, he would be forgotten like Super Android 13 and BoJack. But instead, Broly spent 4 total movies based on him, and was popular enough to get 3 new incarnations of him. Broly from Dragon Ball Super, female Broly from Dragon Ball Super, and Bio Broly from Dragon Ball Z movie Bio Broly. These so-called facts by these fans will be debunked in this review. This movie does a great job in redeeming the Super Saiyan form, as in the anime it was claimed that it's a form that appears once every 1000 years. But over the course of the series, there are multiple characters that transform into Super Saiyan. Not to mention, this supposed unstoppable form gets rendered useless in the face of some robots, built by an army Goku destroyed while he was a kid. Basically, Super Saiyan was downgraded to a mere power-up instead of a mystical form that appears at the time of need that can't be stopped. Thus the real Super Saiyan brings it back to its near undefeatable glory. Broly does what Broly from Dragon Ball Super does better backstory-wise, as his connection to Goku is built better, since they were born on the same day instead around the same time, giving the concept of destiny and fate more believability. There are many symbolisms that can be drawn out, and the movie plays with the idea who and what the legendary Super Saiyan really is. For instance, Broly has the power of the legendary Super Saiyan and is destined to destroy the universe. He embodies everything the Saiyans have prior to Dragon Ball Super, but on a higher magnitude. Goku is the spirit and potential of the legendary Super Saiyan and is destined to save the universe. He embodies everything what Saiyans are against. A warrior with kind heart, and got the benefit of being trained by various martial arts masters. In other words, one rejected his Saiyan nature and the other fully embraced it. If anything, Broly is a perfect counterpart to Goku and possesses more than just looking like him, but many evil Gokus tried yet failed. Even their upbringings clash, as both are exceptions to how Saiyans were tested or treated after birth, as usually Saiyans with low powers such as Goku are sent to places with no challenge, while Saiyans with higher power level, the elites, are treated with respect in their own home planet. Goku was sent to a planet where he got the benefit to be trained by literal gods, while Broly was meant to be executed because he was too strong, hence being dangerous. Broly is one of few characters who are muscular in Dragon Ball and can be taken serious as a threat. He takes full advantage of his body, and the movie makes sure that the viewer can imagine the feeling by each impact delivered by his attacks. Broly was portrayed as an unmovable force, like many villains prior. He took attacks head on without any damage, but unlike those prior villains, Broly actively walked into attacks, giving the feelings that nobody can stop this monster and proving his self-confidence. Personality-wise, Broly shines in this movie. Self-confidence being one example. At the start, you won't see it because of the mind-controlling device preventing Broly from thinking. Once he transforms, Broly shows his true nature in one of the best transformation sequences in the franchise, which is terrifying in any language you view this movie in. Broly is a psychopath who plays and enjoys torturing his opponents and breaking their battle spirit. Each action he does is done with that in mind, as he would ask someone how much they care about a certain person or a certain thing, hinting at his next targets, basically showing Broly has an understanding of others' feelings and wanting to destroy them. Broly's dialogue has hidden intentions, giving him a lot of depth most modern fans don't give him credit for. And the most terrifying thing about Broly is, however, that one cannot escape his wrath, as many characters believe they escaped him, only for him to appear out of nowhere and crush their hopes the last minute. And Paragus is one of two characters that show how terrifying Broly is. During the movie, his pride and love for Broly is shown, but also his everlasting fear, which proved King Vegeta's decision right, forcing Paragus, something he never intended to do at the beginning. His main goal is to take revenge against Vegeta, which conflicts with his fear about losing control of Broly. As a villain, Paragus is also really effective despite not having the power to oppose the good guys, so he has to find other means to defeat them. As the other character terrified of Broly is Vegeta, as Broly represents everything Vegeta wanted to be. Vegeta is a character, since he is royalty, considers himself to stand above all Saiyans, which is why he has a massive grudge against Goku. However, Broly's existence challenged Vegeta's idea even more by having the power that makes Vegeta look like a mere insect, despite not having royal blood, and thus tackling the concept of class versus talent and status versus power. Future Trunks serves as a voice of reason for Vegeta, and since this movie is about the mightiest Saiyan, there's a necessity for all powerful Saiyans to be involved in the fight, including Gohan. Goku in this movie represents everything Broly stands against. Despite all the torture Goku received, he still didn't back down on Broly. Even back when they were babies, Broly could sense something in Goku others couldn't. And the movie shows it in various ways, as both babies fought by crying, which in many cultures symbolize guts and being in good health, and it can be reasoned with that Broly associates his execution attempt with Goku beating him back then. Also, Goku serves as a motivation for Vegeta to step out of his shell and face his fears. Visually, this movie stands out, since the battle takes place at night. The characters wearing bright outfits stands out, especially Broly, who has a unique color palette even by modern Dragon Ball standards. So he stands out every single panel shot with the blue sky in the background. There are also many Broly shots that lets the character fill the entire screen from below, making him even more imposing. Lastly, the environment plays a massive role in this movie. Not just visually, but also as a massive disaster is threatening everyone aside from Broly, through it adding a time limit in addition to the fight, where victory seems near impossible to achieve. The environment also plays a role in combat itself, as it lures the viewer and combatants in false security before Broly manages to catch up and torment them. Even though the movie is amazing, there are some criticism, one being Piccolo in the movie, who basically exists to save Gohan. However, still there was he's one of few characters who talk to Vegeta, trying to convince him to participate, so it's not too out of place to have him around. Another negative might be how Broly lost, which is similar to the loss of many other movie villains. However, in this fight it seems more reasonable to show what Goku has over Broly, adding a fitting end to conclude the film and the use of fate in how and where the attack was delivered. The movie has also some comedic scenes. They are funny but not really memorable in a way, since some of them are referential ones, which many viewers won't get. But the jokes don't overstay their welcome, nor do they ruin the atmosphere too much, especially since some characters have good excuses to act in a goofy way despite a monster being let loose. And lastly, the popularity of this movie also ends up being the downfall, since it led to several sequels, which ruins this legendary character, like retconning his transformation to an upgrade of Super Saiyan instead of being what Broly becomes when he turns Super Saiyan, and they're devaluing the theme of fate from this movie. And this movie is pretty much impossible to fit to the main storyline, since Goku and Gohan use their base forms instead of staying in their Super Saiyan forms the whole time. Overall, if you care about finding out more about Saiyan culture, as see more quality character development from Vegeta, or a movie that explores more than just the fight against a strong villain, this movie delivers in all fronts, not to mention of its great use of characters involved. This movie is a must-watch for any Dragon Ball fan.